This is QTV Nightly News. I am Mamudu Gajaga and thank you for joining us. And a reminder that you can also join us on Q Radio 103.3 FM. Here are the headlines. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, MOPSI, on Tuesday launched the country's first ever professional standards board for teachers. The National Human Rights Commission on Tuesday convened a national dialogue on hate speech and the importance of interfaith collaboration in fostering a united society. The Gambia Revenue Authority today graduated its 7th intake of 57 custom officers following an intensive training program at the Gambia Armed Forces Training School in Fajara. In international news, the 2025 edition of the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World, jointly published by various UN agencies, was launched on Monday, 28 July 2025 at the 2nd UN Food System Summit, Stocktake in Ethiopia. And in sports news, Nigeria Super Falcons, champions of WAFCON tournament in Morocco, returned home yesterday, Monday, to a presidential welcome, national honors, gifts of 3-bedroom apartments in Abuja, and cash of $100,000 each, following their thrilling victory over host Morocco at the weekend. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. Many thanks for joining us and you're welcome. This is QTV News. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, MOPSI, on Tuesday launched the Professional Standards Board for Teachers, the country's first ever. Usman Jatta attended the launch and filed this report.
Teaching continues to evolve in response to the changing demands of society and the rapid advancement of technology. As such, there is a growing need to adapt to education systems that support high-quality teaching to improve student performance. In line with this need, these diverse stakeholders have come together to inaugurate the Professional Standards Board for Teachers, the Gambia's first such entity. The newly formed board will play a crucial role in strengthening the education sector. Its core responsibilities include validating teacher certifications, overseeing appointments and promotions, and addressing disciplinary matters through a Teachers Service Commission. Louis Moses Mendy, Permanent Secretary at MOPSI, described the establishment of the board as timely and necessary in addressing some of the long-standing challenges facing the ministry.
This is a moment where the educational service and the educational sector in this country is punctuated with a lot of challenges owing to the numerous and very diverse and conflicting issues surrounding not only the education as a ministry or as a service, but the globe. We have seen when a teacher is regarded not qualified, he is taken or admitted on the other end. It is only until when we have a professional body like this that will be able to regulate teachers.
Education experts believe this initiative will ensure teachers are equipped with the right skills to deliver quality education. The board, which will promote consistent standards and uphold the integrity of the teaching profession nationwide, includes seasoned professionals and educationists from diverse backgrounds. Among them is Sidia Jatta, former PDOIS lawmaker for Woolly West.
It is heavy in the sense that your duty will be to see that those who are to render service do have the necessary qualifications, not only that, but commitment. One may have a qualification, but one may not necessarily have the commitment to make use of that qualification to serve the supreme interests of this country.
One of the key functions of the board will be the recognition of teaching qualifications obtained from institutions abroad, ensuring they meet national standards. Inaugurating the board, the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Abibatu Drame, emphasized the vital role it will play in setting clear, research-based achievable standards, saying that the board's work will help align the education sector with modern teaching methodologies.
The responsibility entrusted to this board are profound, including critical task of establishing the Teacher Service Commission. This immense responsibility demands collaboration, dedication, and a strong drive for continuous professional growth. With your support, we will raise the bar for teaching standards in this country.
The board is expected to drive best practice, promote collaboration among educators, and offer guidance to help teachers meet and exceed professional expectations. Osman Jatta, QTV News.
The National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, on Tuesday convened a national dialogue on hate speech and the importance of interfaith collaboration in fostering a united society. The event gathered religious and traditional leaders from across the country. Loli M. Camara tells us more.
The day-long event provided a platform to present the findings of the 2024 Conflict and Development Analysis and to foster a stronger collaboration among faith-based leaders in addressing hate speech and promoting national unity. The chairperson of the NHRC, Emmanuel Daniel Juve, emphasized the pivotal role of religious and traditional leaders in shaping public opinion and promoting peace.
Your words carry weight. Your guidance shape attitudes. It is a fact. Your silence, therefore, can legitimate hate. Your words can fuel hate. But most importantly, your voice can also be a shield for the oppressed and a balm for the wounded.
The findings of the 2024 Conflict and Development Analysis report finds that divisions rooted in ethnicity, politics and religion have become increasingly visible, with hate speech often propagated by public figures, including religious leaders, political party affiliates and social media influencers. Yvonne Masarakufa, Senior Human Rights Advisor to the UN in the Gambia, on behalf of the United Nations Resident Coordinator, reiterated the UN's support in strengthening interfaith collaboration, noting that religious leaders are key in countering narratives of division and promoting inclusive dialogue.
You are often the first point of guidance in communities. You shape values, you mediate conflict, and you foster respect and compassion. When religious and traditional leaders speak out against hate, people listen. Your presence signals a collective commitment to safeguarding peace and unity in the Gambia.
Sheikh Al-Haji Issa Dabo, President of the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council, and the Most Reverend Bishop Bani E.F. Manga both shared compelling reflections on the role of faith in preserving social harmony.
We need a legislature that will protect our beliefs. We are Muslims, so our beliefs should be protected. But if somebody insults, you say this is a secular country, this is free country. So if they insult religion, no problem. If they insult other areas, we see it as a threat. I think that's not fair.
Let us also be reminded that peace is the antidote for development. So that if there is no peace in our region, none of us can go to our churches, none of us can go to our mosques to pray and to do what we should be doing.
Dr. Ibrahim Sisao, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Lands and Religious Affairs, on behalf of the Minister of Lands, reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting dialogue and reconciliation efforts across communities. Findings from the NHRC study revealed that while religious and political leaders are often perpetrators of hate speech, they also hold the power to change the national tone. At the close of the event, renewed calls were made for religious institutions, civil society and government actors to join forces in safeguarding national cohesion and promoting mutual respect. For QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
The Gambia Revenue Authority on Tuesday graduated its 7th intake of 57 custom officers following an intensive training program at the Gambia Armed Forces Training School in Fajara. Ansumane Sonyasi was at the passing out ceremony and he now reports.
The 2-month training program entailed a rigorous drill regimen which featured hypothetical situations requiring combat-ready reactions such as physical fitness, martial arts and live firing. The graduating officers, adorned in their customs uniforms, led by Parade Commander Rugetu Jallo, the first GRA female instructor, demonstrated marching drills learned during their training. GRA Commissioner General Yankoba Dabo congratulated them on their achievement, commended their commitment throughout the training, and implored them to maintain the values they had learned.
I expect you to carry forward the principles and values learned during this training. Strive every day to exceed expectation and be exemplary ambassadors of the Gambia Armed Forces Training School.
Furthermore, CJ Dabo stressed the need for the graduating officers to uphold values such as professionalism and dedication to service, and went on to caution against unlawful activity, especially in the discharge of their duties, as their conduct will reflect on the authorities' integrity. He also used the occasion to thank sister services, particularly the Gambia Armed Forces, for their support and collaboration over the years.
All we need from you to uphold the highest standards of discipline, respect lawful authority, and honor the hierarchy in the workplace. Remember that these qualities are not only the bedrock of a cohesive and effective team, but are also essential characteristics of exemplary officers entrusted with responsibility and duty.
Major Abdullah Seka, Commandant of the Gambia Armed Forces Training School, spoke highly of the enduring partnership between GAF and the GRA. Also underscoring the significance of training GRA officers, Major Seka says it will help prepare customs officers to meet the physical and mental demands of their role, especially those posted at the country's main entry points, adding that GAF remains committed to further strengthening their collaboration with the GRA.
Let us not forget the vital role that the Gambia Revenue Authority plays in national development. As the engine of domestic revenue mobilization and frontline guardians of our borders, the Gambia Revenue Authority officers are pivotal to safeguarding the economic sovereignty of our country.
Several officers were awarded for their performance during the training, with Usman Kujabi being awarded the best overall trainee for his outstanding performances in all drills. While the newly trained officers are expected to play a critical role in enforcing customs regulations, border security and revenue mobilization, their training underscores GRA's enduring commitment to building a competent, disciplined, and well-equipped force capable of delivering on the authorities' mandate. Answane Sonyasi for KTV News.
We'll now go for a commercial break, and when we return, we have more national, international, and sports news stories. Do stay tuned and join us after the break.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taam place bi bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal ne fii rek la am bara wërga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saasi añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal baara ataaya bii ndax moom la ñëpp taam gis nga sama client bii ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër baara wërga bii mooy wërga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma mënee ataaya moom rek lay naan.
At Ajib Bank, we are more than banking. We build bridges that connect you to pivotal services every day. Do you have government bills to pay to the Gambia Revenue Authority, Comfort, KMC, or the Accountant General's Department? We've got you covered. From payment of customs and domestic taxes to GRA, payment of number plate and vehicle ownership transfer to Comfort, payment of property rates and business license fee to KMC, and payment of MR passport, business registration, fishing license, land fees, sale of assets, lease application, development permits, quarrying royalties, gravel and sand, mining royalties, and a host of other revenue lines to the Accountant General's Department. Walk into any of our branches nationwide and make your payments hassle-free. Either in person or online. Simple, secure, and immediate. With Ajib Bank, there is no need to worry about government bill payments for your vehicles, taxes, licenses, business registration, and any other revenue line. Ajib Bank, Passionate about your investment, we've got you covered. Ajib Bank, your investment partner.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. On Tuesday, the Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations kicked off a two-day capacity-building workshop for civil society organizations to discuss the African Union's Transitional Justice Policy and the government's white paper on the TRRC recommendations. Mam Nabukar has the rest of this story.
This workshop is part of a broader continental project called European Support for Transitional Justice in Africa, which supports the African Union's Transitional Justice Policy, adopted in 2019 to address the aftermath of violent conflicts and mass atrocities on the continent. As the Gambia transitions from decades of repression and systemic violations of human rights, the task of rebuilding trust in public institutions, healing societal wounds, and ensuring non-recurrence is at a crucial juncture, calling for the integration of national efforts within a regional and continental framework that understands and speaks to the unique context of African societies. This essentially led to the alignment of the TRRC government white paper with the African Union's Transitional Justice Policy, now expected to adequately address past human rights violations in the Gambia and ensure justice for all victims. This event seeks to enhance the understanding and capacity of civil society organizations on these frameworks, by providing them with access to simplified information which can properly empower them to participate meaningfully in the implementation process of the TRRC recommendations. Keba Jom, the National Coordinator of the Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations, outlines the other activities they will engage in to popularize the government white paper and the African Union's Transitional Justice Policy.
We summarized the document, translated it into Mandinka, Wolof, Fula, and Jola, and it's recorded. So these recordings will be aired at 20 radio stations across the country. Also, we'll be having a 4-day program, sensitization program for National Assembly members, and that is going to be convened very soon.
This is Yadikon Yai Eribo, the chairperson of the Association of Non-Governmental Organizations in the Gambia.
Let us remind ourselves, justice delayed is not justice denied, it is justice abandoned. We must not lose momentum. We must not allow bureaucratic fatigue, political resistance, or limited resources to derail a process that carries the hope of thousands of victims and survivors across this country.
Rafael Brigandi, the deputy head of mission of the EU delegation in the Gambia, is certain that all these efforts will contribute to a holistic, inclusive, and victim-centered transitional justice process moving forward.
Today's workshop really exemplifies what transitional justice should be: inclusive, transparent, and participatory. So I'm very confident that you will use these 2 days to share your knowledge, listen to the voices of victims, and build or continue building relationships that will help deliver positive results for the TG process in the Gambia.
Participants will collaborate to foster a more effective approach to transitional justice in the Gambia, one that ensures the voices of victims are heard and their rights upheld. Mam Nabuka, reporting for QTV News.
From that report by Mam Nabuka, coming up next is international news. The 2025 edition of the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World, SOFI, jointly published by the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, the World Food Programme, WFP, and partners, was officially launched on Monday, 28 July 2025 at the second UN Food Systems Summit, Stocktake in Ethiopia. On the theme, addressing high food price inflation for food security and nutrition. Isato Barry reports.
The SOFI report provides the latest updates on the global food security and nutrition situation and includes new estimates on the cost and affordability of healthy diets. Since 2021, global and local food prices have surged due to COVID-19, the Ukraine war, climate shocks, and financial instability, outpacing inflation, reducing purchasing power, and limiting access to healthy diets, especially in low-income countries. According to the report, about 673 million people, equivalent to 8.2% of the global population, were chronically undernourished in 2024. While this marks a slight improvement from 2023, the figure remains higher than pre-COVID-19 levels. Meanwhile, over 2.3 billion people around the world continue to experience moderate to severe food insecurity. While global levels of acute hunger declined in 2024, the number of people affected continue to rise in most parts of Africa and in Western Asia. Amina Mohammed, the Deputy UN Secretary General, in her speech, emphasized how malnutrition affects women and children's health across the world.
Anemia among women aged 15 to 49 has risen over the past decade. 2/3 of women in that age group do not meet minimum dietary diversity, undermining their health and the health of future generations. 1/3 of children between 6 and 23 months are not getting the nutrients that they need during the most critical window of brain development and growth.
Here is Abiy Ahmed, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, host of the summit.
At the Food Systems Summit, we were reminded that food is never just a commodity. It is memory, identity, national sovereignty, and ultimately survival.
Leaders at the summit emphasized the need for stronger investments in agriculture, climate resilience, and social protection systems to reverse the trend, stressing that without swift coordinated efforts, the continent risks becoming home to half of the world's undernourished population within the next 5 years. The WHO's Director General, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, in a pre-recorded message highlighted some of the key areas to focus on.
We need action in 3 key areas. First, to ensure unimpeded access to deliver life-saving treatment to those facing acute malnutrition, especially in conflict zones. Second, to strengthen social protection systems to reach vulnerable populations with nutritious foods. And third, to reform food price policies to make healthy diets accessible, especially in low-income communities.
If current trends continue, there will still be 512 million people going hungry on average by 2030, with 60% of those in Africa, falling far short of UN Sustainable Development Goal 2 of zero hunger and ending malnutrition by that date. Aissatou Bari, QTV News.
From that report now to sports news. As if winning the greatest competition on African women's football was not enough, Nigeria's Super Falcons returned home to a presidential welcome, national honors, gifts of 3-bedroom apartments in Abuja, as well as cash of $100,000 each. They triumphed over host Morocco in a trailing match on Saturday and were received at the State House in Nigeria on Monday. More details in this story.
Nigeria's Super Falcons went into the competition billing it as Mission X, as in X being the Roman numeral for the number 10. By the end of the competition, it was very much a case of Mission X accomplished. Going into the final against host Morocco, Nigeria had already demonstrated why they are the top-ranked team in Africa. This was never more apparent than in their complete demolition of Zambia in what many had earmarked as their toughest game. They breezed through it, winning 5-0 in the quarter-final. In the other quarter-final, Morocco had disposed of a very good Mali team, beating them by 3-1. In the semi-finals, Nigeria finally loosened the grip of defending champion South Africa, defeating them 2-1 in 4 minutes of added-on time at the end of regulation time. Morocco, meanwhile, had a tougher time of it, having to finally beat the competition's surprise package Ghana 4-2 on penalties after the teams could not be separated with the scores at 1-0 after extra time. Nigeria's mission appeared to be ending early after a vibrant Morocco took a deserved 2-0 lead going in at halftime via goals in the 13th and the 24th minutes, much to the delight of a partisan crowd. Whatever was said by the Nigerian coach at halftime must have worked. They came out a transformed side, scored in the 64th minute to spread panic among the Morocco team and their supporters. The anxiety of the home team and supporters grew even greater 7 minutes later when Nigeria leveled the scores in the 71st minute. This was the 10th time Nigeria had made it to a WAFCON final, and they had won the previous 9. They were obviously not in the mood to spoil their perfect record. With just 2 minutes to go, Jennifer Ekejeni reacted quickly to a flighted free kick into the box to sweep home the ball for what proved to be the winning goal. It was the first time in WAFCON history that a team had come back from a 2-goal deficit to win. The delight of the Nigerian players displayed on the pitch was echoed back home, including by the President and First Lady, with the latter calling the ladies on the phone to congratulate them. The President then conferred on them various honours and announced that they would be getting cash prizes and houses each. On touching down on home soil, they met and presented the trophy to President Tinubu, and were eventually taken to where a lavish party awaited, which featured performances by various top musicians with current and former international sports stars, celebrities and politicians in attendance. It seemed everyone wanted to be there. And they partied long and hard. And for the Super Falcons, it was well deserved. They had indeed accomplished Mission X. For QTV News, I'm Ade Darami.
Now, before we end this news bulletin, here is a recap of our main news headlines. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, MOPSI, on Tuesday launched the country's first ever professional standards board for teachers. The National Human Rights Commission on Tuesday convened a national dialogue on hate speech and the importance of interfaith collaboration in fostering a united society. The Gambia Revenue Authority today, Tuesday, graduated its 7th intake of 57 custom officers following an intensive training program conducted at the Gambia Armed Forces Training School in Fajara. And in international news, the 2025 edition of the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World, jointly published by various UN agencies, was launched on Monday, 28 July 2025 at the 2nd UN Food Systems Summit, Stocktake in Ethiopia. And in sports news, Nigeria Super Falcons, champions of WAFCON tournament in Morocco, returned home yesterday, Monday, to a presidential welcome, national honors, gifts of 3-bedroom apartments in Abuja, and a cash prize of each $100,000, following their thrilling victory over Morocco, the host at the weekend. That's all we have time for in this bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. Join us again at 10 for another news bulletin.